I'm here! Kill me! Come on, kill me! I'm here! What the hell are you?
Predator wasn't just an action movie. It was testosterone weaponized. A film that dropped elite commandos into alien hunting grounds and made invisibility look like cheating. But behind the muscle and minigun mayhem, nothing was easy. The original Alien looked like a lobster. Jean-Claude Van Damme quit after kicking over cameras. And the thermal vision that made the Predator legendary? It was invented because they couldn't afford better special effects. These are 15 brutal S's about Predator. And buried in the jungle chaos? A creature so iconic it spawned decades of sequels. All because one Belgian action star threw a tantrum. One. The Van Damme disaster Predator's iconic Alien almost looked completely different because Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast as the creature and it was a total disaster. The original Predator design was a red, insect-like alien that looked more like a giant lobster than an intergalactic hunter. Van Damme was chosen because they needed someone athletic enough to perform the creature's acrobatic movements in the bulky costume. But Van Damme hated everything about the role. The costume was uncomfortable, the movements were undignified, and worst of all, his face would never be seen. He complained constantly, kicked over camera equipment, and eventually walked off set after just a few days of filming. The crew was relieved when he quit because his ego clashed with the anonymous nature of playing a monster. Van Damme's departure forced the production to completely redesign the Predator, leading to Stan Winston's brilliant creature design that became a movie icon. Sometimes the best creative decisions come from spectacular failures. 2. The real military muscle. The cast wasn't just playing soldiers, they were built like actual military hardware thanks to an intense physical training program that transformed actors into believable commandos. Arnold Schwarzenegger was already massive, but the rest of the cast underwent months of military-style conditioning to match his intimidating presence. Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, Bill Duke, and the other actors trained with real military advisors who taught them authentic weapons handling, tactical movement, and combat formations. The training included running obstacle courses, learning actual military protocols, and developing the kind of physical conditioning that would allow them to carry heavy weapons and equipment through jungle locations. The actors had to master the operation of real military hardware, including machine guns, grenade launchers, and specialized equipment that weighed significantly more than typical movie props. The physical preparation created authentic camaraderie among the cast members, who bonded through shared suffering and genuine respect for military professionals. The result was a group of actors who looked and moved like real soldiers rather than Hollywood pretenders playing dress-up. The minigun madness. Jesse Ventura's handheld minigun wasn't just a movie prop. It was a real M134 minigun that fires 6,000 rounds per minute and weighs 85 pounds without ammunition. The weapon was originally designed for helicopters and vehicles, never intended to be carried by individual soldiers, but the filmmakers wanted maximum firepower for Ventura's character. Operating the minigun required special training and safety protocols because the weapon generates enormous heat, tremendous recoil, and can literally tear apart anything in its path. Ventura had to learn proper handling techniques to avoid injury while making the impossible weapon look manageable on screen. The minigun sequences used real ammunition and practical effects, creating genuine muzzle flashes and destruction that CGI couldn't replicate in 1987. The weapon's distinctive sound became one of the movie's most memorable audio elements, a mechanical roar that suggested overwhelming military power. The jungle heat hell. Filming in the Mexican jungle wasn't just challenging, it was a survival test that pushed cast and crew to their physical and mental limits. Temperatures reached over 100 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity levels that made breathing difficult, and equipment malfunctioned constantly. The actors had to perform intense action sequences while wearing heavy military gear, carrying real weapons, and dealing with insects, snakes, and other wildlife that saw no difference between movie sets and natural habitat. Several crew members required medical attention for heat exhaustion, dehydration, and tropical illnesses that are occupational hazards of jungle filmmaking. The location was so remote that emergency medical care was hours away, making every day of shooting a calculated risk management exercise. Equipment failures were constant. Cameras overheated, film stock was damaged by humidity, and electronic equipment failed regularly in the harsh conditions. Fifth, Stan Winston's alien masterpiece. Stan Winston's Predator design wasn't just creature creation, it was the birth of cinema's most iconic alien hunter through innovative practical effects and biomechanical artistry. Winston had only 6 weeks to completely redesign the creature after Van Damme's departure, working under enormous pressure to create something that would salvage the production. The final design combined reptilian, insectoid, and technological elements to create a creature that looked both organic and artificially enhanced. The Predator's face was inspired by a combination of human skull structure and exotic animal features, creating something familiar yet completely alien. Winston's team developed the creature's extending mandibles, retractable wrist blades, and distinctive clicking vocalizations that became signature elements of the character. 6. The thermal vision innovation. The Predator's thermal vision wasn't just a cool visual effect, it was groundbreaking technology that required innovative filming techniques and equipment that pushed the boundaries of 1980s cinematography. The thermal imaging sequences used real infrared cameras and specialized film processing to create the distinctive heat signature visuals that became the Predator's trademark hunting method. The effects team had to develop new techniques for combining thermal imagery with conventional film footage, creating seamless transitions between normal and Predator vision. The thermal shots required careful planning because infrared cameras captured heat differently than visible light, meaning that makeup, costumes, and set design had to be adjusted for the alternative visual spectrum. The actors had to perform scenes knowing that their heat signatures rather than their faces would be the primary visual element, requiring different performance techniques and blocking considerations. 7. The invisible enemy technology. The Predator's cloaking device wasn't just movie magic, it was practical effects wizardry that combined multiple filming techniques to create convincing invisibility without computer graphics. The invisibility effect used a combination of background plates, careful lighting, and optical compositing that required precise planning and execution for every shot. The crew filmed empty background plates for every scene where the Predator would be invisible, then combined those images with footage of the creature to create the distinctive rippling camouflage effect. The effect required perfect camera registration and lighting continuity between the background and creature elements, making it one of the most technically challenging aspects of the production. The invisible Predator sequences used traditional optical effects techniques that were extremely labor-intensive and required multiple film passes and precise timing. 8. Arnold's ultimate one-liners. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator dialogue wasn't just tough guy talk, it was the birth of action movie one-liners that became part of popular culture and established his reputation as cinema's ultimate action hero. Lines like, "Get to the chopper," and "You're one ugly mother ferrisher" weren't just scripted dialogue, they were Arnold's contribution to the film's testosterone-driven atmosphere. Arnold understood that action movies needed memorable catchphrases that audiences could quote and repeat. So he approached dialogue delivery with the same intensity he brought to physical performance. The actor's distinctive accent and delivery style made even standard military dialogue sound unique and quotable, turning exposition into entertainment. Arnold's one-liners in Predator established the template for action movie dialogue that prioritized impact over realism, creating a heightened verbal style that matched the film's over-the-top action sequences. The real military weapons arsenal Predator's weaponry wasn't just movie props. It was a genuine military arsenal that included real firearms, explosives, and tactical equipment that required special permits and safety protocols. The production used actual military-grade weapons, including M16 rifles, M60 machine guns, grenade launchers, and specialized equipment that was typically restricted to military and law enforcement use. Each weapon required proper licensing, trained operators, and safety coordinators who ensured that real firearms were handled according to strict safety protocols throughout filming. The actors underwent extensive weapons training with military advisors who taught them authentic handling techniques, proper firing stances, and realistic tactical movements. The ammunition used during filming included both blank cartridges and live rounds, depending on the scene's requirements and safety considerations. 10. The Mud Camouflage Discovery. Arnold's mud camouflage wasn't just a costume choice, it was a strategic plot development that came from real military survival techniques and became one of the movie's most iconic visual elements. The mud camouflage scene was inspired by actual military training where soldiers used natural materials to break up their heat signatures and visual profiles when evading thermal detection. The practical application required extensive testing to determine what materials would actually work against thermal imaging while remaining visually convincing on camera. Arnold spent hours having mud applied and reapplied to achieve the right consistency and coverage that would look authentic while allowing him to perform action sequences. The mud work required special makeup techniques and waterproof applications that would survive action sequences, jungle humidity, and multiple takes without losing effectiveness or visual appeal. 11. Kevin Peter Hall's monster performance. The man inside the Predator suit wasn't just wearing a costume, he was creating a character through physical performance that brought the alien hunter to life without dialogue or facial expressions. Kevin Peter Hall, standing 7 feet 2 inches tall, used his background in mime and physical theater to develop the Predator's distinctive movements, gestures, and body language. Hall studied predatory animals, including big cats, birds of prey, and reptiles, to create movement patterns that felt genuinely alien yet recognizably predatorial. The suit was extremely heavy and restrictive, limiting vision and movement while requiring Hall to perform complex action sequences in challenging jungle conditions. Hall's performance included subtle head movements, gesture timing, and physical reactions that gave the creature personality and intelligence beyond its technological capabilities. 12. The guerrilla warfare realism. The military tactics and combat sequences weren't just action movie choreography. They were based on actual guerrilla warfare techniques and special operations procedures that gave the film authentic military credibility. Military advisors worked with the cast and crew to develop realistic tactical movements, communication protocols, and combat formations that reflected genuine special forces training and procedures. The jungle warfare sequences incorporated real military strategies for operating in hostile territory, including patrol formations, ambush techniques, and extraction procedures that actual special forces units would employ. The weapons handling and equipment used reflected authentic military protocols rather than Hollywood conventions, creating action sequences that felt tactically sound as well as dramatically exciting. The team's mission structure and operational planning followed realistic military frameworks that demonstrated proper special operations methodology and chain of command procedures. The attention to military authenticity helped distinguish Predator from other action movies that treated military elements as purely aesthetic rather than functional story elements. The realistic approach added credibility to the fantastic alien hunter concept by grounding it in authentic human military capability and professional soldier behavior. 13. The sound design Predator language. The Predator's distinctive clicking and vocal sounds weren't just random alien noises. They were a carefully designed alien language system that conveyed emotion, intention, and intelligence through non-human vocalizations. Sound designer Hal Hickel developed the Predator's vocal patterns by combining animal sounds, mechanical noises, and electronic manipulation to create communications that felt both organic and technological. The clicking sounds were based on insect and reptilian vocalizations, but modified to suggest complex language structures and emotional content that audiences could interpret without translation. The Predator's mimicry of human speech demonstrated the creature's intelligence and tactical awareness, using captured voice recordings to confuse and manipulate its prey. The sound design included subtle audio cues that indicated the Predator's mood, hunting status, and technological operations without requiring visual confirmation or explanation. 14. The box office hunting success. Predator's commercial performance wasn't just successful, it was a hunting expedition that captured audiences worldwide and established a franchise that continues to generate revenue decades after its initial release. The film earned over $98 million worldwide against an $18 million budget, proving that original science fiction concepts could compete with established franchises and sequel-driven entertainment. The success came from word-of-mouth recommendations and repeat viewings rather than massive marketing campaigns, with audiences responding to the film's unique combination of military action and science fiction horror. The movie's appeal crossed demographic boundaries, attracting action movie fans, science fiction enthusiasts, and horror audiences who appreciated different aspects of the hybrid genre approach. The commercial success led to immediate sequel development and franchise expansion that included comics, video games, novels, and crossover projects with other science fiction properties. 15. The franchise empire Legacy Predator's cultural impact extended far beyond its original film to create a multimedia franchise that influenced action movies, science fiction, and popular culture for generations. The movie spawned multiple sequels, crossover films with the Alien franchise, video games, comic books, novels, and merchandise that generated hundreds of millions in revenue. The Predator character design became instantly recognizable worldwide, appearing in everything from Halloween costumes to high-end collectibles that appeal to both casual fans and serious collectors. The film's influence can be seen in countless subsequent movies that adopted similar invisible enemy concepts, thermal vision sequences, and human versus alien hunting dynamics. The franchise's expansion into other media allowed creators to explore different aspects of Predator mythology, developing the alien culture, technology, and hunting traditions that were only suggested in the original film. Predator wasn't just an action movie, it was the ultimate hunting experience that proved humans could be prey and predators simultaneously. Hit that subscribe button for more action movie secrets and tell us, could you survive the Predator's hunt? Thanks for watching, and remember, if it bleeds, we can kill it.